Hello Taurus friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Taurus September 2022 Astrology Top 5 Things to Know Horoscope Forecast. Definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com. That's the interface for all the free goodies I make for you each month, so you won't miss anything I've worked hard to make you to help you make the most of the starry possibilities, and that link is in the notes below the video or podcast. This is for you if Taurus is your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon sign, or any other placement of Taurus that you're watching for. What we're going to talk about here is going to be part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Taurus, so let's say if your birthday is from May 15th or so through the rest of the sign, or 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, then I also suggest you listen to my Gemini report. You very late Taurus friends are going to benefit from both the Taurus and Gemini reports. So let's get right into the top 5 things to know for this month. The first thing that I am the most excited about, we'll just start with the goodiest at the beginning. We have got 6 trines this month, and 5 of them are Earth trines, and you are an Earth sign. So that is a big deal. So we're going to break this down. From September 11th through the rest of the month, there are going to be these 6 trines, the 5 in Earth signs, as I said. And what that means is mega manifestation on a very practical level from the perspective of security, emotional, mental, physical stability, anything having to do with money and love and finances and your vitality and your health and your communication. Also having to do with Pluto, which has, transformation and alchemy and ascension, and Uranus, things coming out of the blue for happy surprises. So all of those energies are worked into the second 2/3 of the month. So that's a very big deal. So the houses that are being aspected that will add to the energies that I just mentioned are your first house, which is your physical body. It's your image, so blessings with making a breakthrough with your health. It could be something having to do with a breakthrough with your image or healing something that has been holding you back, or getting certainty as to what it is you want to do when you grow up, as we say, no matter what age we're at. So all of those possibilities are ripe and wonderful for these trines. And also things having to do with your creativity and your children and your bucket lists and things that you've always wanted to do, and your inspiration and hobbies and romance. All of that also can get blessings from this trine. So manifestation, very material, very tangible in any of those areas. And then finally, we additionally have the energy of Capricorn, which is going to be manifesting in your 9th house. So your 9th house can have to do with travel, immigration, international business, publishing, writing, spiritual studies, anything having to do with education, teaching, or learning for yourself or other people, whether you're the teacher or whether you're the learner. So there's this very strong story of Taurus finding something that you're passionate about, having education along those lines, and then bringing it out as a possible vocation. Okay, that's how a lot of this energy seems to be looking to tie together, and important pieces are going to happen in this period of time. So everyone will get the goodies in the zodiac, but Earth signs will get even more goodies, and of the Earth, so that means no Taurus will be left out of all of this yumminess. But those of you who are close to the degrees that these aspects are happening can get even more of a personalized touch from this. So the aspect with the Sun and Venus connecting with the planet of surprises, Uranus, and innovation and breakthroughs, that's going to be at 18 degrees. Okay, so again, this takes place from September 11th through the rest of the month, that you'll see these energies kind of popping in and influencing for days at a time. So 18 degrees, we'll say between 13 and 23 degrees, with 18 degrees being the biggest kiss. So this is going to be like around May 3rd or 4th through like May 13th or 14th, and the closer to like May 8th or 9th, the more you get the kiss from the Uranus series. Now we also have a series of 3 aspects, 3 trines at the same degree with the planet Pluto, which we talked about, that transformation, other people's resources, loans, getting out of debt, credit, purchasing important items that you've been wanting, and getting support emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or financially. All of those goodies spinning out through the whole pretty much second, third, 2/3 of the month. everyone can get the goodies, but the closer to 26 degrees, the more you get that kiss. So we'll say 21 degrees through the rest of the sign, and the closer to 26 degrees, the more intense. And so that will equate to around May 11th or 12th through the rest of the sign. And then like May 16th or 17th, we'll get the closest kiss for that series of 3 trines at that same degree. So it's pretty magnificent. And we do have right there at the end a Mars and Saturn air trine, which everyone can get goodies from as well. So there's a big storyline here of efforts from the past being rewarded now, okay? Both because we're moving into a retrograde time, which we'll talk about as one of our other points, and also because of these Earth placements and because of the presence of Saturn. All of those are telling the stories of Taurus working hard, Taurus accomplishing something, Taurus getting somewhere, and then getting goodies from your persistence and your discipline that happened in the past, and that's carrying over into the present. All right, so lots to be super excited about there. The next top thing to know is that we are re-entering eclipse season. This is important for everybody to know, but this is a Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle. So the Taurus and Scorpio people among us are really the ones that are most targeted for the radical change at this time. And I'm sure many of you have been feeling that since the end of last year. There's radical change afoot, for better and worse. We have to ultimately hope and believe that it is for better, even if it's been difficult things that have been happening. So we've had a little bit of, I don't want to say a break, but in some ways it was. July and August, we were kind of in between the eclipse seasons, but now we're entering back in. So we've got a Taurus and Scorpio eclipses in October and November, and we're talking about them in September. It's super critical to talk about them beforehand because 4 to 6 weeks before the first eclipse in the series, the activity starts coming to a boil. So it's like the heat gets on in September, and the bubbling of the manifestations and the potentials and the glimpses into what may happen will really start getting stronger with every day we move into September. So you need to know about this even though the actual eclipses aren't happening quite yet, because you will notice the increase in activity, themes that had come up, coming back front and center, new chapters coming through, new layers coming through of those pieces that had come before. So there's a lot of energy for everybody in the zodiac with these eclipses about my stuff versus our stuff. My emotional, mental, and fiscal security and stability and sufficiency versus ours, other people's money, shared money, and the switching around of assets and big expenditures, big income, a lot of things having to do with money, individual money and shared resources, and your relationships, me versus we, things you need, things other people need, things that you feel other people did to you, you on the path of forgiveness of those things, anything having to do with your personal relationships, including your relationship with yourself and your body and your image and your self-esteem is all in the works here. So your psychology about everything, your viewpoints, the things that have been imprinted upon you and the outcomes of those imprints are all really making themselves manifest in a big way. Now, one of the most amazing things about eclipse time is that it can burn up negative karma in an instant. Okay, so this is like big stuff. The eclipses are directly related to our karma and our dharma. So the things we came in to learn, the patterns we came in to clear, plus the things we came into experience from our highest expression, we can get on track with that highest trajectory during this eclipse time. And sometimes we have to go through some things that seem like devastating losses to be able to find within ourselves something that we're supposed to express. Sometimes there's rhyme and reason with that the universe has for things going on that is not readily apparent to us at that time. But hopefully information will be coming in about why certain things are happening, and you're starting to see as this cycle progresses since last year of, some possible reasons why you might be going through these types of changes. But in any case, it's very likely going to be very intense, and you will start feeling it. Insomnia could come in, feeling like you've got your finger stuck in an electrical socket. You could have the feeling of foreboding, or you could have the feeling of excited anticipation, like something amazing is about to break through. And it certainly could. So dramatic life changes for Taurus, very likely afoot, and you'll start to see those starting to manifest now. Okay, so that's point number 2. Point number 3 has to do with the retrogrades. So we are, as I told you we would be, progressing into the time when the tides are rolling back in. Okay, if you followed my work for a while, you know I'm very focused on helping you align with the natural rhythms of the universe by understanding planetary rhythms. When the personal planets that can go retrograde, which are Mercury, Venus, and Mars, are not retrograde, and we're in a time where all of that energy is direct, everything's really pushing outward and forward and far-reaching and as far as you can stretch and, extend and planning and looking to the future. And we've been in that time. June 19th through August 21st, we've been in our last brilliant open period. And I am going to be making live this video in that time, even though the time we're speaking about is once the tides start rolling in. So I am going to speak to that open window briefly because for those of you who are watching this early, you are still in that open period for taking direct action for big moves, big launches, big decisions, big announcements, weddings, engagements, parties, travel, big redos to your house. Anything that you want to be of major long-term consequence, big purchases, big sales, all of that is really well indicated in the direct time. Then as we roll August 21st and now into September, we are starting to have the energies roll inward and backward. So if you imagine having been on the shore for June, July, most of August, you were setting your little boats afloat out to sea and watching them go. You've been setting your messages in a bottle. The boat you're trying to get off the island with, you're setting it afloat, and the tides are magically taking you out far and wide. But then as soon as September is here, we have not only Mercury retrograde energy, but Mars retrograde energy starting to roll in. And that is bringing our tides inward. So that means that anything you try to put out far and wide, it's probably going to come back to you. But that also could mean that things that you put out far and wide in the past could also come back to you. So a lot of these trine energies can be blessings that come in on the tides of things that you did in the past that roll up to you sitting on the shore, patiently waiting. For these things. So September and beyond is a time, and when I say beyond, I mean like into March of 2023, is really a very long stretch of time for going inward, for going backward, for cleaning things up, for staycations, for dealing with things right in front of you, repairs, repairing your relationship, dealing with those things your kids have been needing, dealing with those health things that have been kind of accumulating. Just stuff much closer to you. It's not the time to try to plan or see much into the future. And in fact, many things can be called into question and get murky when you try to project out too far. But that's protecting you because it's not best to plan those things at this time. What it's best to do is deal with what's right in front of you. Be the spider and let the food come to you at this time. You can definitely reap the rewards of past work. Things can flow in easily and unexpected. It's a time for indulging in creative projects and in inspiration and in hobbies and in fun, in editing and revising and redoing and improving, so just polishing up things that you already have out or preparing things that you have yet to launch that maybe you'll be launching in that next open window in March. And by the way, if you are looking to the future for planning and all of that, and you are in this open period and you're wanting to get some plans set for next year, you definitely want to watch my sneak peek 2023 astrological tides, which will show you all the open windows for 2023 and all the retrograde cycles. Now that is exclusive content only available to those in my exclusive content community for my small subscription price that you can see at anniebastrology.com. Most of my work is free and out available to the public, but I do now have a portal where I do have some exclusive content where people get things very early in there and extra goodies. So you can go to Annie B Astrology to check that out. So taking calm action on unfinished business and dealing with things proactively this month. If you know that there's a leaky faucet and it's not too bad now, but it's going to get bad, taking care of it. If you have a little roof leak and it could turn into a big one, taking care of it. You're kind of going around and taking care of things that are squeaking for some attention. Experimenting with low stakes projects is also a really good idea. So if it's no skin off your back to put out a little promo for something and that's something new, it's okay to do new things during retrogrades. It's a misconception that you can't do anything new in a retrograde. You just have to expect that new thing might have a short shelf life. And that's fine, because a promotion, is just for that moment, and that's okay. Or let's say you've got a little project that you want to launch and it's only intended to be a couple of months, or you want to start a little interim business for a few months while you're waiting for a job to start next year. All those things are fine in the retrogrades because they're short term, they're flexible, and they're not high stakes. Something else that September is amazing for is studying and learning and researching for future projects or future plans. Teaching, education, you might get really hot on something that you've been wanting to learn, and the perfect education program could come in, or maybe you've already purchased that and you're ready to go back to it, or something that you've been considering getting into, that idea might come back to you and you might jump on it. And that could be very good, because most education programs are pretty short. Well, not most, a lot of education programs are pretty short term. So even making that commitment now in the retrogrades is okay, especially if it's flexible and it's of a shorter duration, not like many years. Okay, so we talked about the eclipses. 1, we talked about the retrogrades. 2, we talked about the trines. 3, now let's talk about the movements of the personal planets and how those are aspecting things for Taurus and what areas of life are being lit up for you. First thing to note is that the sun is moving through Virgo, fellow earth sign. Next thing is that Venus is going to move into Virgo, fellow earth sign, and Mercury, although it is in Libra, which we'll talk about in a second, is going to retrograde back into Virgo, which is 3 planets in fellow earth sign that will trine your placement. Okay, so this is very good news. Besides all of those earth trines that we had before, that I explained before, those trines in the sky are also going to give kisses to your placement, which we talked about those degrees earlier. But these personal planets are also going to sweep through and give kisses to every Taurus placement. Okay, so over this month, next month, you're going to have kisses from Venus, you're going to have kisses from the sun, which started last month and it will go through this month. So you've got a little bit of a stretch of time where powers of perception, powers of discipline, powers of focus, which Taurus people tend to already have, are going to be magnified. And this really meshes nicely with the retrograde energy of just getting stuff done and dealing with things in front of you. So if you have a pileup of things you've been avoiding and you need to just sit down and get it done, all these Virgo energies are really going to help you get disciplined and organized and just get rid of this thing hanging over your head, so you can feel a lot of relief from getting these things done. Now, one of the areas that's going to be really highlighted by these transits is also your 5th house of children, creativity, creative babies, leadership, things that are your hobbies, things you've always wanted to do, fun, things like that. So it's possible you could be working hard on creating a fun experience for yourself or for your family, or researching future experiences. And this can also mean some kisses and blessings in love and romance. So Venus is going to be there, so that is love and romance. And then also the 5th house does have an element of romance there. So love can come to you back from the past, or some love can return within your current relationship. Maybe you've been having a hard time, and maybe now some things are starting to come back to you, blessing your relationship space. So on the topic of relationships, Mercury is moving through Libra before it retrogrades back into Virgo, and that's bringing retrospective energy, inward, backward energy about partnerships and relationships. Okay, so you might be questioning things. It's not necessarily, unless you're in danger and have to get out of a situation, of course, that always supersedes whatever the transits are. But if you're not in that situation, it's not always the best time to make a final decision, because all this retrograde energy means you're still getting information coming in, and it means you're just kind of thinking about things. And even if you think you have an awareness, the odds are that you're going to have a lot more awarenesses, and you might wind up reversing what you think right now. So if you just kind of let it play out, ask the questions, maybe if you're going to make some changes, make them flexible, non-binding, kind of just open up to some experimentation if you've got an issue you need to work with. But for the most part, it's a time to reflect and find solutions more than make long-term binding decisions. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to talk about has to do with the full moon in Pisces, because the full moon in Pisces is going to make yet another pretty nice aspect for you all. So let's talk about it. The full moon will be on September 10th, and the days around that you'll feel it. Fruition, drama, completion, a shaking off of your emotional space, water where it shouldn't be, either literally or figuratively through the energy of emotion, can all come at this time. But since it's in a nice angle for you, I'm hoping that that means it's a positive outcome. Some drama or fruition or something could come in your friendship space, your acquaintances, your groups, your community. And the energies are in Pisces, so your intuition, your subconscious mind, your dream space, space of synchronicity, which is the language of spirit. All of those things are highlighted beautifully at this time. And everyone can get the goodies. But those of you close to 17 degrees have more of a kiss from this particular full moon. So we'll say like 12 degrees through 22 degrees, and the closer to 17 degrees, the bigger the kiss. So that's like May 2nd or so through around May 12th or so, and the closer to around May 7th, the bigger the kiss you get from that full moon, but the goodies are available for everyone. So those are the top 5 things that I wanted you to know for this month. I hope that there is a lot of ease and grace in the manifestation of all of these potentials. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that, and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband, you can find that at anniebclarity.com. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs, and you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got, me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumlife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.